Hello, family. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy E, the Dividend Passport Bro, back with another video. Guys, remember, right now I am still in Marta, Santa Marta, Colombia. Okay, I'm still here. I'm here for the next 3 or 4 days, right? Till next week, Tuesday, I believe. Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. I'm here. Okay, guys. So we bring in today's dividend income video from Santa Marta, Colombia. Okay, guys. Remember, guys, this is not financial advice. Okay, I say this all the time. I'm just a 52-year-old guy making videos about my portfolio and my portfolio alone. So don't take this as financial advice. You can use it as a guide to keep you motivated to invest, but not financial advice. Okay, guys? And to all of our new subscribers, thanks for liking and sharing the content as we continue to grow this channel. Okay, guys? I'm here for questions, whatever you guys need. If you need one-on-one, they're going to cost you. But if you have any questions, you can go into the Discord, put your questions in there, and there's other people in the Discord that's just as smart or more smarter than me in investing. Will be happy to share light on your questions and comments. Okay, guys, or even post it in your comments here. And most of the time, I will respond. All the time, I will respond, except if it's something that is so obvious, I probably won't say nothing, and somebody else will answer you guys. But other than that, I try my best to respond to each and every comment. Okay, because it's not a lot of comment we get down. So of course, I have time, I do it. All right, guys, we have over 280 plus videos. Today we are working on the 286 videos. So I make videos every day. I know some people are like, man, you've been doing this for 6 months plus? Yes, I make videos every single day. And sometimes it's harder than others, but still, you know, this is something I do not just for you guys, I do it for me also to keep myself honest, to stick to something that I said I was gonna do. Okay. And I know sometimes it's very, very hard to keep doing this, but it is. I do it anyway. All right. So today we're going to talk about the income that came into the portfolio. Now it's a little tricky today because I transfer the Robinhood portfolio. We still see Robinhood sitting up there. I transfer my Robinhood portfolio to Fidelity, and of course, me transferring that portfolio to Fidelity, that kind of changed the way, um, I would, um, the way the money would come into the portfolio, right? So I already can tell you honestly how much money um, coming in from Robinhood, because everything's transferred over, and even though the funds is going to go into Fidelity, but when I look at it, right, I guess what it's showing me is what I'm supposed to get from Fidelity. But this is not a clear distinction. Say, oh, okay, this dividend is from Robinhood, but now it's in your Fidelity account. All right, so I just want to clarify that because I don't want you guys to think like, what the hell is Edwin talking about? All right, let me move this guys over here and move this guy over here. I forgot to add these bad boys. All right, so speaking of my Robinhood, I still have money sitting in there. I don't know how long that's going to be in there before they move it over. But if I go into, where is it? History, right? Move my hand some face out the way. If I go in here now, usually like last night, that's when the dividend will start to drop in. Now I still have a dividend that is pending in here, and then all of the other stuff. People I refer, this from 20 and stuff like that, right? But stuff is still pending in there. I don't really care about that, right? We looking at the dividend, pero I'm speaking Spanish. But you see right here, the only thing you see here from is from March 31st. That is still pending. So it's gonna be probably next month before I can do anything into this portfolio. I'm thinking I'm just going to try to open another one because I don't really care about the history here. I can always pull my tax information. That's all I really need from here. Um, so, right, that's nothing to go on there and check. You know what? What else I did? I didn't open here. Oh gosh, sorry. And let me see. I can do that from here. All right, I can do that from there. Hold on. Nope, that's not gonna work there. Hmm. Let me move this out the way. See, I'm a little. There you guys. I'm just human, just like you guys. Okay. Um, all right, let's do this again. That's not the one I want. All right, I'm trying to pull up the online calculator so I can bring it over here. What did I just close that? All right, make it smaller, not close. No, no Spanish. All right, so let's bring the calculator over. Well, let me get this right first. All right, so we can't do nothing here today. So this dividend from last week, right? So let's go into my chart swap portfolio. Um, I mean, we know we got about 40 something dollars that came in to the chart swap portfolio. As far as dividend goes, account data is not available. I'm sitting right beside the modem, and this thing is still going slow. So I don't have no control of how slow it goes, guys. And this is where we are right now. Okay. Qualified dividend just got to do with taxes. Okay. So, so this is from last week, right? So this is where we are this week. You know, it's so simple when the stuff is not a lot, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So every week we're going to be getting dividend from Alt now because Alt switched to weekly, and you guys confirm that for me because it's like I was missing that information. Um, but it is what it is. All right, so we're going to start 5-1, 7, 13, 5-1, 6, 1, 2, 5, 1, 9, 4, $47, $47.52. Okay, let me get my sheet. This is chart swap. 47.52. And that's what we got right now. Save that. All right. I mean, that basically it for this portfolio. Now, Tesla, we got $19, Alti, $6 this week. So, I mean, if the dividend goes up, we'll get more money from Alti next week. YBIT, $13.51. SNOY, $7.31. And then AMCR, I got 0.5151 cents. Okay. So guys, this is one of those dividend aristocrats positions, right? I paid dividend this week. So we good there. Okay. So over here in the portfolio, now I need to bring this over because this, like I said, this is like make this larger, right? Um, so this right here, right? This is considered for this week. This is it came in yesterday, but it's for the 21st, for the 20th, and 19, whatever it is, and then this one right here is the 21st, right? The same as the other position, 20th, 20th. So the rest of this right here, it came in on the 18th, but this is from the 14th. So that's like the previous week, right? 17, but it's from the 14th. 17, but it's from the 14th. So that's from the previous week. So let me get the calculator. So this week, like I said, the actual dividend amount is going to be jacked up because of the transfer. So, and I can, I can only give you guys information on what is actually showing. So the money that I'm supposed to receive and what is actually showing is going to be completely different. Okay. All right. So we're calculating these guys right here. That's it on this page. Calculating these guys right here. All this other stuff here is just from the 14th from last week. All right. So let me bring it over. And I do that because I rather give you guys a lower number and get more money in my portfolio than give you guys a higher number and get less money in my portfolio because I don't go back and check this stuff. Once I do this, that's it. I never did this before until, I'm like, let me do this for you guys. Because Brad asked me, like, oh, how much money you get in every month? And then I start doing it. But, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's time consuming. For 3.31 and then 0.91 plus. So that's 40. This right here is 45.51. All right, let me see if I can move this. Uh, 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 make sure it's the right one. Okay, this is the other one. This is the other one. I only got 2 screenshots. Okay, so let me close this one. Or screw it, we'll just bring this one over. So this is the other screenshot, right? So this is what I was talking about. This stuff here coming from the 21st, right? But it's from the first. So we're going to add this to the calculation. We're going to add this to the calculation. And everything else in here looks like we can add to the calculation. I guess this is from this week. This is from yesterday, Saturday. It came on Saturday. So we're going to add all of these to the calculation. And that'll be that. Okay? So, like I said, the actual amount we're going to get this month is going to be completely different. All right? Than what we actually get. I'm just giving you guys that heads up. So be like, how do you have so much money and your portfolio generate so little money? Because I just transferred my portfolio over. 1181.50 plus, and then we got 2,498.13 and plus, and then we got Alti 532.48 plus 41.06 plus 0.01 equals. All right, so 4,300 from our Fidelity account, and I can assume that this amount have Robinhood added into that. Now, if it doesn't, it is what it is. Because I'm not. The other option would be to call the brokerage and be like, "Hey, okay, so my stock transfer over. What is that amount shown? Is that amount showing the overall value of the portfolio, or how do I see that?" Um, but for now, for me, it doesn't really matter. Okay, guys. So, all right, let me bring this over here, right? And let's close. Is that gonna? No, it's not gonna close. He ain't gonna listen to me. He ain't gonna listen to me. But we gotta drag him out the way. All right. So we're gonna bring our trusted dividend tracking sheet over, right? As you can see, I'm gonna put Robinhood 00.00. I have to put something in there. It's just me. Now, if I wasn't so disappointed in the amount of dividend we're receiving for this week, I would have put in the numbers like I did here, right? But I didn't do that for the yield max position this time around. So this is what we have. So let's do this real quick. So we got 4,055, right? Plus 47.52 equals, right? So that's what we got for this week, 4,055, $355.03. All right, for this week. Now last week, so we go a plus sign. Last week we had 12,000, 1, 2, 6, 2, 7.28 plus, that's 16. And then the week before that we had 6,000. Okay, so we're gonna have 6,178.57. So that give us $23,000, right? So far for this month. Now, 23 grand so far for this month. We still have one more week to go. Okay, we got one more week to go in the month as far as collecting dividend, right? So we're gonna look at how much dividend we're gonna get starting Monday to the 28th, right? Now, the month still got another couple of days in the month. So whatever comes in on Monday, that number shows like, oh, it's from the previous week, or Tuesday from the previous week, or Wednesday, whatever it is, we're gonna add it into this week of calculation. Okay. And then we have April. So we have, almost 5 weeks in April, but it kind of caught short. So we got a couple days. So this is gonna be kind of crazy. But this is still whatever dividend coming here is gonna be paid on the second. So it's just one of those things. So do we calculate this dividend here for this month or for this month, right? And then we got, what we see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I guess we can calculate the dividend that coming on the second for this week. We'll figure it out. But because if we don't, that means we're gonna have 5 payday in the week in May. Uh, you know, for me, it's a simple thing that frustrates me and get me all, stressed out. The big stuff, you can't control that. The little things, you can control. So, guys, you see. Oh, I need to move this out of the way. Let me save this so it don't go away. I can close this out. So, as you can see, right, this week from my little, $500,000 portfolio, we generate so far $23,000 in dividend. And For me, I don't want to see Puffy Diddy Kong over here. You're moving him out the way. And for me, it's a lot of money. For anybody, it's a lot of money. So of course, right now, right? Of course, right now we trying to survive, right? When I look in my not Robinhood, when I look in my Fidelity portfolio, right, I have a buffer right now of $11,000. That is not margin fund, right? I got 11,000 sitting in my account after all the transfer is done. Now remember, right? So if I have a position that has been transferred, it's not a full share. Those positions are sold and the cash is transferred over, right? So if you have 1.5 shares, they're going to sell that 0.5 shares and transfer the cash. So I have some cash transfer over after the sale of the portfolio was after the portfolio transfer, whatever fraction of shares left over is sold and then the cash is transferred into your portfolio. So some of those cash, right, that was sold and transferred over help the bottom line of my portfolio. So with just in 1 week, right now I have a buffer of 11 grand. Now some people are like, oh, that's a lot of money. No, that ain't crap, right? I got a 400 some $1,000 portfolio, as you guys can see right here, almost $500,000 portfolio. But right, the total amount invested into this portfolio is 602,000. So my portfolio is still down 15%, right? It's still down 15%. So how long would it take to build that portfolio back up to get that 15% um, that that was lost within, you know, I don't want to call our president name, but when tariffs was put into place and my portfolio started taking shits, you know what I'm saying? Portfolio literally taking a dump, like it had diarrhea, right? Just shitting out cash, right? So this is where we are. This is You can say, oh well, you invest in high yield, that's the problem. That would be stupid to say that. But because the entire market was taking a crap, people were scared, people selling off their positions. Even now, with the quarters coming to an end, people are like thinking, okay, well, is it going to continue next quarter? So people still selling and taking losses, right? People selling and taking losses. Now they have the reasons for it. Some of them, they have millions of dollars, billions of dollars. They can do what the hell they want to do. But for me, I don't have billions of dollars. I barely got 1 million. Okay. So if I start selling my asset and losing a lot of money in the process, then that's crazy. Right now, like I told you guys in the previous videos, I'm just trying to keep my portfolio afloat to survive. Now, if we continue generating 20, 30 grand a month, of course, within 3 to 4 months, right, I would have made that income back into the portfolio. You guys get that, right? So my portfolio is down 100 grand. Most of that due to tariffs, right? So if I decide to say, you know what, I'm gonna invest. Well, I already told you guys, I'm gonna still reinvest, right? The goal is still to get to 60,000, right, a month. 80,000 was it 60,000 a month? That was the goal for this year, right? It's still to get to 60K a month, but we got to do that we got to be cautious on what we're doing, right? My portfolio down is $105,000, 15%, right? And now my portfolio is all in Fidelity, pretty much until Fidelity and ChargePoint. Until I start to reinvest, start up my daughter tuition portfolio again in a separate portfolio, which I want to do. I'm down 150. I'm down 15%, right? And this is a lot of money to be down in the portfolio, but there are some people that are down worse than me. So I can't say, you know what, and I can't worry about what somebody else's portfolio look like because that's their portfolio. I want to focus on how much money my portfolio is generating for me, right? I can say, oh well, Peter portfolio is at this, and Peter got that. Peter portfolio is not going to give me any money. Peter portfolio is going to take care of Peter, okay? I'm only focused on mine ish, and that's it. So, and I believe the plan that I have put in place to build my buffer back up is not only just going to help me in the short term, but it's going to help me in the long term because this money going to come back into the portfolio as income, right? 105,000. If my portfolio is generating 30 grand a month, right? 30 grand a month, I'm going to have that money back in 4 months, back into the portfolio. Now, it depends if I reinvest the cash or if I spend the cash, right? Or if I just let it sit there and take care of the buffer, right? And another thing, as I let that cash build in, that is, it's going to give me more margins, right? I'm going to have more margins to buy. Also, my margins is going to be less, right? Because as I stockpile cash into the portfolio, my margin will be less. So I can invest 1,000 a month for the rest of the year until September, October, right? Until September, October, and say, you know what? We got so much money now. Let's invest. Maybe if I have 300 grand sitting in there, I go, you know what? Let's throw another 100 grand to the market. And throwing 100 grand to the market within 3 or 4 months period, that would literally get my income back up close to that 60. And I believe before the end of the year, we will still be at 60, even though I wanted to be at 100, right? But we got bigger problems if we just focus on, getting to the income. And then if we have similar situation, right, then I have to be selling positions, pulling money out of my other personal accounts to transfer back in here. So I hope you guys get this, right? Because I've talked about this over and over and over and over, so you guys can understand what's going on. Hold on a second. All right, guys. So I've talked about this over and over and over. So I know you're like, damn, Edwin, we got you, but because I don't want people to come back and say, oh well, why? Because there's always somebody out there who look for the worst in everything, right? And they might not have a nickel to flip at me or, a pot to piss in, want to throw out the window. But they're going to want to talk about how bad my portfolio is doing and all this other stuff. Okay. And people got to do what people are going to do. I don't care about that. Right. But for the people who's here, who want to understand what's going on, this is why I always reiterate things over and over and over, just in case you catch the video at some point and you be like, okay, I'm not watching the entire video. I'm just going to listen to this. And then you miss a lot because I talk about a lot of different things when I talk about the portfolio. And usually I don't do this much talking when I talk about the cash we get into the portfolio. Yeah, right. We got $23,000 this month so far. Good. That's great. Work in progress. But the income dropped, right? The income was at 30. Now it dropped to 20 something. I don't know where it is today right now. It looked like it's still at 28, 28.5, right? So 28.5, that means based on estimate, right, we're still going to generate another $5,000 next week, more or less, right? That will get us at 28, maybe 28.4 or something. That will get us there between the portfolios. I mean, if we can do 5 grand next week, and the market holds, stay in place and nothing crazy happen, I think that would be great. Apart from everything that happened with transferring the portfolio, selling positions, positions dropping in value, dividend being cut, all of those different things, right? If we can make $28,000 this month, I think that would be amazing. Okay, guys, I think that would be amazing. And if we look at the future value, right, the future value from what it was yesterday when we look at this number to what it is today, it's still the same. There's nothing changed because it's only been a day, right? So sometimes we see a little change, but nothing changed, guys. So we made it this far, right? We made it this far. We have, I would say consistency. We have consistency in the portfolio. Right now, I'm opening that thing back up, right? We have consistency in the portfolio, and we have one more week to go, right? I don't know where this number come from, but right now the number total dividend, that was the estimate I think from last time, but we don't want to do estimate. I need to put the actual amount of dividend that came in. So far we got 23,160.88. So this is what we have received total, right? For the month. Okay. So this is what we are, right? No, it's April. All right, March. So this is what we have. We got one more week to go, right? In a day to see what happens. Um, I think the expected dividend amount was 29 back then, and now it's down to 28. And I have the strong feeling that next month gonna be good. I think the market kind of settled to where it understands what is going on with all this tariffs and all the other things, right? Like I said, guys, if you don't invest now, you're gonna hate yourself later on because this is how the rich get richer and the poor stay poorer because the rich people that don't want to invest in the market, invest in real estate, invest in all the commodities and other things. And a lot of times they don't do it themselves. They have people doing those things for them, moving their money around, putting it into different places. So as we continue to do this, right, as we continue to invest in our future, right, we have to be patient. Okay, guys, we have to be patient because patience got us here, right? We didn't get here in 2 days. We got here in 5 years. Okay, and for us to stay here another 5 years, we have to be very patient. Okay, guys, I love you guys. Um, Saturday, this is what we talk about the income video. Um, I'm gonna end the video here. I hope I was able to answer some of you guys' questions in the comments from yesterday. Like I said, my initial investment was $600. $100 went into my regular portfolio, and another $600, $500 went into my Roth IRA. Now today combined, um, I have over 600,000. Now my Roth is is there. I don't show that in this portfolio because I can't live off of it right now, so I don't show it in my portfolio. But I have over 100 grand in my Roth account now, and this is all in 5 years. And then people are like, Edwin, how do you have 100 grand in your Roth account? Simple. When I work a job and I have dividend, if I have money deducted out of my check that go into a 401k, after I leave that job, I take that money and I transfer it into my Roth. I pay the taxes and I transfer the difference into my Roth account. So whatever grows after that grows tax free. Oh, this thing is all jacked up right now. Whatever grows after that grows tax free, right? Because if I don't pay the taxes and just let that money sit in that other account, whatever if it's gonna grow, I'll still have to pay taxes. So if I pay the taxes today, it's gonna be less than whatever I have to pay 10 years from now, right? Or I mean, what 7 years from now, 8 years from now, when I'm 59 and a half, right? That was like 7+ years from now. When I'm 59 and a half, I can actually use that money. So when I get to 59 and a half and I start to use that money, then that money would be added towards my dividend income monthly, right? And then when I get to 62 or whenever I can draw Social Security, I would draw that early because that's gonna be my limbo fund. I know I say that jokingly, but if I stay in the United States, if I'm still in the US like I am now going back and forward, that money for Social Security, if I can still get it at 62 years old, which is 10 years from now, I will use that money to buy me a limbo, maybe a Urus or something, because that I won't need that money, right? But I'm still gonna spend that money because I put into that. That's my money they're giving back to me. Okay? So guys, remember, stay focused, All right. Don't make comparisons. Say, oh well, Edwin's getting 4,000 a week. I need 4,000 a week. Edwin made 12,000 last week. No, it's just not about me and you. We're not in competition. We are here to grow from each other, to help each other, right? To invest. And the other question the guy asked, he says, if I had to do it all over, would I invest in extreme high yield like I do now, or would I invest in the dividend aristocrats and dividend king? And my answer, I put it there and I'm saying it again over here. I would invest in the dividend kings, the dividend aristocrats, right? And I would get some low yield to mid yield, right? Positions and learn, right? Because you want to know what you're doing, right? You want to know where the money coming from, why the money coming in, how the money coming in. You need to know these things, right? And if you don't understand this and just stop buying stuff when the price drop, it's going to affect your income, right? That's why I tell you guys all the time, even if you're investing in high yield, extreme high yield dividend, you need to have solid position, right? Like if you need 3,000, I always say have positions. You need maybe 30 positions, right? Mid to low yield 30 positions. And if you can get all of those positions paying you $100 a month, that's $3,000 right there. Then when you have your high yield that paying you 5 or 6 grand a month, it's just extra money because if your high yield go crazy and they cut the dividend, your lower yield and mid yield, those guys don't usually cut dividend like that because they want to keep that dividend kings and dividend aristocrat status. And if you got like an SCHD or a VYM or VOO, those things are not cutting dividend like that. They're not. They're not. They're building up those ETFs. Those are solid ETFs, right? And if you have JEPI and JEPQ that are paying between 9 and 7%, that's decent, right? Those are decent. Okay. Now some people like them for different reasons, but if you're an income investor, that's where you start, right? You're starting with the 5 and 6 and the 3 and the 4%. You can get that in a bank account, but you're not going to get the growth, right, in the bank account. So remember, guys, you have to do what works for you. Like I said, my job here is to get you guys to think and invest in your future. Things are outside the box because people are like, oh, this is a scam, right? This is a scam. Everything is a scam to an idiot, right? The man that calling you and telling he call you from the Social Security Administration office that you have, some crap going on with your Social Security card and gonna be arrested. You're gonna be arrested. He's not a scammer. But the guy who's telling you, say, yo, invest in your future, put money aside, okay, collect these little dollars, these $2, these $3 in 5, 10 years, you're gonna have 20, $30,000 coming in every year or every month, right? And I'm a scammer, but I'm not asking for nothing from you. I'm just telling you, right? If anybody else can do it, other people can do it, and they live off of it, right? There's people that got $2, $3 million in their portfolio, right? That's generating a lot less money than me, but they got their portfolio diversified, balanced to where they feel comfortable, right? I'm still trying to get to another level, right? I'm still trying to get to another level. So for me, it's a little different, right? Those guys are comfortable making 30, 40 grand and they have 1.6 million to 1.5 million in their portfolio. And that's enough for them to live off of and still reinvest. But for me, I have other plans, right? I have my kids that I'm trying to get things for to get to that level where they will be comfortable, where they don't have to stress and worry about anything because their daddy did what he needed to do for them, right? Because I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying my life. You guys see that I'm every week I'm somewhere else. Every 2 3 weeks I'm somewhere else, right? I'm traveling, and it costs money to travel. If you don't have money, you can't travel. You can't go to other countries in hotels, driving cars, buying properties if you don't have money. You know, the mids passport bros are brokies and stuff like that. Yeah, okay, I'm a broke passport bro. You know, that have a net worth of over $1 million. Okay, thank God for that, right? And God willing, in the next 2 to 3 years, I'm gonna double that, and I'm trying to get it to 5 million. Okay, that's my goal. 5 million is my goal. I think when I get to 5 million, then I'm ready to arrive. And I'm not just talking about in my portfolio. I'm talking about my net worth, my combined value. Okay, okay, guys. I know I get to talking a lot. Sometimes I get excited and run my mouth, but I love you guys. Okay, tomorrow we're gonna have the Edwin talk video. We're probably gonna have some of the same conversation about stuff we talked about today. If you guys ask more questions, of course, I will answer some of those questions in the video. I hope I answered the questions today, right? Because some people say, "What your initial investment?" My initial investment was $600, right? In my regular portfolio, it was 100. In my Roth, it was 500. That's my initial investment. Now, over the years, I have added funds to my portfolio because one time I had 3 jobs that was paying me over $300,000 for those 3 jobs. And I was investing. I did that consistently for 3 years, right? I would work 2. If I get burned out, I would quit one, work one, because I'm an executive. So, of course, I don't work the same level. Most of my stuff is meeting and talking to people, making sure stuff don't break. So it's a different, right? But if I was working as an engineer back then, maybe it would be a little bit difficult because I would need more of my time to build things, fix things that break. But when you just go into meetings, you can structure your time. I can structure my meetings and stuff like that. So that's how I able to get my portfolio to where it is within 5 years, right? But I know you guys want to, how Edwin, where you get the money from? That's where I got the money from, working multiple jobs, right? Like I say, in some cases I had 3. And in most cases, I was working 2 full-time jobs, right? I was investing 100% of, well, almost it wasn't 100%. I was investing 80% of the fund from my second job, right? And I was using 20% to travel, right? That's basically what it was. Now, when you take out the taxes, after taxes, of course, right? After taxes, and if they had our 401k plan, I was putting money into that because I knew at some point I was going to leave that job. So that's 10, 20 grand. I was going to move that to my Roth and pay the taxes. Okay, because that's my plan. I was like, I can just be putting in 7 to 8 thousand when I turn 50 into my Roth. It will take forever for me to have 100 grand. But within 5 years, because of what I've done, the strategy I have, I able to have over $100,000 in my Roth, right? Because imagine I put in 7, 8 grand in there. It would take 10+ years to get to 100 if you're just starting from scratch 5 years ago, right? But I was working multiple jobs, right? Putting money into those 401k plan and stuff like that. And after a year or 2, when I left, I was maxing it out. So after, I was putting up to $20,000 a year in some of my accounts because whatever I could put out, I was putting that out. So because I knew, hey, I'm only here for a short time, not a long time. And when I leave, I'm gonna take that money out of there, put it into my Roth, pay the taxes. Right? You gotta have a plan. You gotta think things ahead. You can just go there willy-nilly. Okay? And that's what I did to get to where I'm at now. That I can do what I do, right? And for people who don't know, they're like, oh, well, he just luck. Ain't no freaking luck. Yeah, maybe I got a little lucky. The stock market went my way for a while. I got a little lucky. Yeah, whatever. But it takes time. It takes effort, right? So to my friends and family who now follow me and see what I'm doing and trying to do something similar, it takes time. And when I pivot, you need to know why I'm pivoting so you can pivot also, right? Now, you guys are fine. You don't use margins. If I wasn't using margins, man, my portfolio would probably be higher right now because whatever money I have, I won't be throwing it back into margin calls, right? Those 30, 40 grand that was coming in, I won't be covering those freaking margin calls, right? My portfolio down due to margins and all this other stuff. Okay, I'll just be buying when it like now when I get that 4,000, boom, I'm gonna spend it buying more positions. So the next week, boom, I'm buying more positions because I'm not worried about margin calls. I take what I need to eat, the rest is getting invested. Okay, guys, we can go on this for hours. So let me stop. Okay, we're gonna talk about this tomorrow on the Edwin Talk video. I love you guys. Still blessed. Have a wonderful Saturday. I'm gonna go get some lunch somewhere and take my girls to the beach. We're gonna do something fun today, right? So I love you. Talk to you guys later. Peace out.